What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I see Tesla going a little crazy. I think they had some delivery numbers coming out. So uh those numbers came out just as I was signing on. So I don't know if anyone's got those numbers or wants to take a look into that and just throw that into one of the chats of what that number came out to. But looks like Tesla's getting a little pop pre-market. So congrats to anybody holding anything Tesla. But oh, there we go. Jay's got it. Jay says Tesla says Q2 produced approximately 411,000 vehicles and delivered approximately 444,000 vehicles. All right. I wonder what their estimate was. So they still got about 33,000 on the lot. That's not bad. That's not bad. I don't know where their estimates were sitting, but we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Anna. Good morning. Bill, Carlos, Cindy, D, Frank, Jason. Good morning. Jay, JT, Kevin, Lauren, Lucy. Good morning. I don't know. Yeah, if I say Lucy, it sounds like Lucy, but no, Lou space C. Good morning to you. We got Matthew. Good morning. We got Mike, Raja in the house. Tim. Good morning. All my peeps at YouTube land. We got Liza in YouTube land, and then all my other lurkers that are just sitting there in the background, just hanging out. That's okay. I still love you. Just hit that like and subscribe button. But we'll check out the SPY first, and then we'll see what the damage is there on Tesla as well in a little bit. But we got SPY, so SPY gapping down a little bit. But I'm actually gonna change it up a little bit. We're gonna go TLT first today. TLT first. The bond people. So the bond people not loving the markets. Not really that confident on my guess is inflation. So we did have the bond spike and we got that bond curve actually expanding out a little bit. So for anybody that follows that, it's been one of the most accurate let's see the market movements on some text after we ended yesterday. Yeah. That's been the market. Yeah, this last really like the last 2 to 3 weeks have been like Chopzilla, and then we got toward the end of the day, all the algos are really kicking in, and you get your price movements. The daily candles are there, but the intraday has been tough to get to those spots. So that's mostly due to the lighter volume. But for anybody not really familiar with the inversion curve in bonds, it's been one of the most accurate predictors of recession. Again, not saying that we have a recession. I believe it was what Bank of America came out with a report a few weeks ago saying that they think the recession actually started back in October. So uh, then we're already in one. I don't know. I don't know. But TLT, the bond people, right now they're kind of agreeing with Bank of America with this big decent move down. Obviously, we do have a little gap and go there. The technicals don't matter as much in terms of like gaps and movement. It all comes down to where those interest rates typically fall, but right now, this is telling us we probably get some higher yields in the bonds, and that's not really great for the SPY. So not a good day. Still kind of just hanging out. We do have this little almost upward channel ish, and we're at the verge of breaking that down. But that's one thing that was kind of little strange yesterday. And then we had the market did throw in a little bit of a hammer for SPY yesterday. We opened up essentially down from where we were at now. We did go a little. We actually dropped down to this level. We opened up all the way up at like 545.59. Took the whole round trip. Got below all those levels of VPOX, all of that. What should have been support today, we're gapping down. So now we have all of that as some type of resistance. Not a great gap. Still inside day, so probably my guess would be we get rallied up into this 544.65 zone. We have to see what happens there, but if we could get a close back above 544.65, okay, well, we still got one more resistance up at 545.69 and then maybe into like this 546 zone. So we've got a lot of almost chop, and we also have pretty much a day and a half of trading left. The market is open Friday. RLT is closed, but there's not that much volatility, not much volume that typically happens on that Friday. And then same thing with tomorrow. I would even say same thing with today. The beginning hours, especially on something that's getting news like Tesla. I think PayPal too also had like a little bit of a upgrade, so that looks like a good gap to go. I was looking at pre-market, but otherwise, yeah, I think we still just in this chop zone, which is a very frustrating and not really that fun of a market to be trading in. But you do have Qs. Qs just kind of hanging out, so this is a little bit of a gap down as well. We still got a decent amount of support below us. We have a decent amount of resistance right above us. Longer term picture for everything. I mean, we have to break one way or another. It just depends on when, where, why, how, right? So maybe it's due to something like for instance Tesla, something where it's you get some delivery numbers, it looks good. You get some earnings in other companies coming out in July. That looks good. We need some probably volume back in the markets. But in a bullish case of things, we're still not that bad. We still got all those moving averages slowly catching up to us, and we're just building out this support. Otherwise, this little just sideways chop probably continues. Although today is looking like a little bit more bearish pressure, unless you're sitting in there in Tesla. Let's take a look at that one right now. TSLA. Yep, up $10 in pre-market. Yeah, they had their delivery numbers. I think it was that's why I thought they were supposed to come out at 9. They came out like a minute early too, so they were excited to get those numbers out there. Let's see. Obviously, we don't know where this thing's going to open in the next 21 minutes. But if we're gonna play land of make believe, let's see. We got one little resistance we have right here into this 220 zone. Next spot up from there, if we could break it, about 226, 227. Decent amount of room to go if we want to continue bullish. This will be a retest gap today. Let's see if we're trapping any of these bears. Who are we trapping? See if there's any volume. There's some notable volume. They've been taken out already. Those guys are essentially taken out as well if they're still holding. All right. Yeah, decent looking gap. We've had a run up into this gap. We are opening to a little resistance. In terms of volume, I don't have really anything here until really 237. So yeah, Tesla could get some love today. That being said, it is a retest gap. We'll see if we get that pullback. I would love to see some kind of pullback, 50% retracement before that opening bell rings. That would be fantastic. And then we can make a case that it probably could get some more bouncing and support. But right now looks good. That's got to go fairly high on the list. We shall see. Uh, the bull case of why I like it bullish, obviously, is there's a lot of room on it. My bear case is that we've already run and we might need that little pullback. So we'll see how this one opens. I don't want to get too aggressive here at 220. It's also a good psychological whole number, but not bad. Not bad at all for the Tessie. Let's talk about PayPal. So PayPal did get that upgrade. It does look like a decent little support down here. I do have an order to that I put out a few minutes ago just to get filled at the opening price for some more shares of PayPal in the long term. But we had a good looking hammer yesterday. We also got a little bear trap on it the previous day, which we're not completely out of yet. We do have a little bit of a hammer on, not hammer, but a wick on that one. So we're not quite out of that one, but that's where some decent volume came in 2 days ago, two trading days ago, so Friday. We have another good hammer here, so we're taking out all those candles. Even on this down move, not a lot of volume, so it's not like there's that many bears trying to push this thing down from here. But more so, I think you get a lot more trapped in this candle. So I like this one. It's got some good range on it. We got 59.25 would probably be my first target. Again, I'm adding. I got the order out there, so we'll see. But I'm interested down here to add to the long term. And if it wants to continue to sell from here, okay, next month I'll add a little bit more. But I mentioned it before. I was kind of on the fence of like, man, this is a bunch of like good names I like, even from the ones I own. And then you got Nike coming in, you got Starbucks still, which I don't own either of those yet. But those I'm not gonna turn my turn my back to those guys, but is now the right time. And with this little gap today, I think I'm gonna try to take that little momentum change. Just one probably still dances around here for a little bit until earnings, which we got end of July. So July 30th, so end of the month, we'll find out the earnings, see if they made any improvements. They got cash flow. I like them. I think they're a stable company. Whether they're growing or not, that's debatable, but they do have some revenue, some money. I like this gap. You got the earnings coming in. Maybe we even get that pre-market run up into probably like $63. So we'll see. But today, probably about $1 and change for targets. Otherwise, fairly decent gap and go on that one. Let me know if you guys got other tickers you want to take a look at. Santilla says having fun with Tesla. That makes sense. That makes sense. We got Para. See, the other one, it wasn't Para, but it was WBD. I own some of that. I think I got my retirement and then I got my regular account. The retirement one, I didn't put the order out for anything. But Paramount Global, I don't have. WBD Discover Warner Brothers Discovery. I do like. They just got a ton of debt, but it's a little bit of a 5 year type play before I think that debt gets essentially paid down. But Power looks good. Um, Higher highs, higher lows, looks decent. I do have the 20-day moving average coming in at $10.66. We got essentially tweezer tops. We're breaking above that. Did they have any news on them? Mm. Traders eye Powell speech as U.S. equity futures drop pre-market. Is Powell speaking today? Because that would be news. I didn't know that. U.S. equities futures fell Tuesday pre-market to traders look ahead as speech from Federal Reserve Chair. Oh, Powell is scheduled to speak before the European. He's speaking from the ECB forum on central banking at 9:30 a.m. So 15 minutes till we get some comments from Jerome Powell. I don't think I don't think he says much, to be honest. That's not really the forum for him to drop new news or really start hinting, but we'll see what happens. He will use those type of forums to subliminally throw out messaging. He's gonna be in Portugal. So like he'll start hinting and the market has to kind of interpret like, okay, so now this is where he's thinking, and maybe we go from there, but he's not actually going to really say anything, I think, of true weight on that one. I guess we don't need these little lines, but Paramount looks good too. I'm gonna get this one up higher. Again, WBD for me is my longer term play. Not that I have anything specifically against Paramount, and just I've done more research on Warner Brother Discovery, and it's just their debt that kind of keeps them down a little bit. But with any effort to pay that down, which I think is a roughly about a 5 year time frame, you're looking at it over 30% free cash flow. As an investor is pretty good. Again, not today, but once that debt's finally paid down, not bad on that one. Let's see what else we got. We have Crowd, the RWD. Little bit of a gap down, but we're also kind of it looks a little bit like it looks a little bit too much like the Qs. So you do have a gap and go to the bear side. You're still inside day. I've got support on this one coming in around 380, 47-ish, somewhere around there, 380, 80. So not too far from first support. The next one down, if we start to break, I'm looking at like 372, 74. Because it's an inside day, we probably get the bounce first and see what happens if we kind of come into yesterday's opening price around 385.38 would be a better spot, I think, to take a short if you want to lean that direction. You do have a double top up here, So there is that. We kind of came in. We did hit that last little resistance. We do have a gap filled down here as well. So this is a retest gap, never got retested. Longer term picture, maybe you're looking for that 349.22, but I'd probably have to consider that more of a swing trade than a day trade. So I think at some point this gap probably gets filled. Otherwise, yeah, I think this one probably, at least at the opening bell, gets bought up. It does look a little too much like the Qs. Lauren says Unity software. Um, based on based on this trend, not looking great. Mm-mm. Most likely, and we just hit 52-week lows, all-time lows. I think if you're looking to go long and say, you know what, I like this company, I think it's going to be around. Uh, they're not going to zero. I wouldn't be buying at this price. I'd still at least minimum be waiting for 553, but most likely I think this one probably does continue to come down lower. They need some kind of a story change. They need something. They need some positivity to them. I mean, the last few earnings have not been bad. I mean, they did come in with 27 million surprise upside to earnings for the revenue portion of things. They also came in with 58 million. So it's not like they don't make money. This one they did lose on the revenue. So 3 quarters ago, go back further. There they beat by 15 million. Here they beat by you know what? I'd have to look into I'd have to look into the revenue on this one. I'd have to look into the actual fundamentals on Unity. Otherwise, on a technical basis, that is a horrific downtrend. So now the question is, are they going to be around in 10 years? And then if so, there will be a good price at which we could buy them. I don't know if that currently right now today, I don't know if that's $15.75. Oh man, when did I go on mute? How long ago? How long ago was I on mute for? That's wild. So I don't know what you guys heard on Unity, but um, I don't really have much of an edge on this one on Unity. So even if I wanted to pick this thing up for the long term, I'm looking at like $15.55. But for right now, I don't really have much edge why even a long term investor wants to step in here. Again, I haven't checked the fundamentals the last couple quarters. They have been beating on the revenue side of things. Just there's been no buyers on this one. So at minimum, I think I'm looking at 15.55, even for a long term perspective of just buying and then continuously buying on the way down. But just like I said, be prepared to buy on the way down. It still looks a little rough. And then eventually, if the company is making money, which it does look like it, on the revenue side of things, I don't know if they're keeping any of that money and actually making profit or just reinvesting the entire thing. So that's what I want to check on. But eventually, there will be a price that this thing can get kind of stabilized at. But we haven't really hit the price discovery zone yet. 20 seconds, that's it. Okay, I'll take that. That was good because I don't remember hitting that button whatsoever. Nicola. That looks like a pretty horrific downtrend as well. Pretty tough one to overcome that trend as of now. Um, I would say I don't have. This is probably a reverse split, if anything. Yeah, so they did a reverse split. Also, not a great bullish sign on the reverse splits. And then I think the path to this one is still down a little bit, or 2-0 potentially in the future. Like, I'm not going to put it past it. The company has a lot of work to do. They don't make money. They are still just absolutely burning cash, and that cash fountain will dry up eventually. So I would be a little concerned with this one. It is a gap and go today. You're still inside day candle. Maybe you get a little love from Nikola and Rivian and some of those other companies, the Neos of the world, based on Tesla today. Other than that, which Tesla's already up 223. So now we only really have $4 or $5 upside. Okay. But Nikola, yeah, this is a major trend. I think any pops on Nikola probably ends up getting sold off. People just trying to clear it off their sheets, I would imagine, unless they came out with some kind of good story. So, and then not only that, but this gap and go is inside candle, so nothing too crazy. Santilla says 221 now. Yeah, that was like $2 ago. That's old news. We got XOM, Exxon Mobile. Good little gap and go on that one. Uh, First resistance, and every single day. And I've been watching just because I got some shares in Oxy, which I'll just check out that one next. But if it's doing anything like Oxy, it opens up higher and then it's notably sold off. Then you get that gap and sells off. Gap sells off. So we do have that little bit of a gap and go. I do like the chart. Just the intradays on these ones have been very tough. Otherwise, I'm looking at 116.71 as my kind of initial resistance. We did hit that yesterday. We do have a chance to break through. If we can, we can get to maybe this 118, 118.36, which would be a really nice trade. We do have a little bit of other resistance ahead of us, and maybe looking for like this 117.18 might be a little more in the wheelhouse or reasonable. But there is a path to this 118.40, 118.36. Let's take a look at Oxy real quick. Oxy, uh, man, we are right above that last resistance. Next target, which we clearly went through, 63.44. 63.96, I think, could be target for today. I think it's got a path to get there. I kind of like the Oxy chart a little bit better on this gap. Both of them are still inside day from yesterday, but Oxy's already kind of clearing that last little pivot. So, yeah, I kind of like the Oxy trade a little bit better, but nothing against the ExxonMobil. I think they both have some decent room today. We'll see. CCL, Carnival Cruise. Not a great open. You do have a bearish engulfing candle over 3 days into that fourth day, and then you closed right into a support spot. Today we're opening below it. I would see if you could get bought up at open. Watch for probably about $17.70. See if there's a little resistance there. The next spot of resistance, you're looking for about 17.81. So somewhere in that zone, I think would be the spot if you're looking for continuation down. Even if we draw a fib on this one, we got 4 minutes left. We draw a fib on this one, we might have a little bit more room to go down too. Even just trying to come into that 50% retracement, which I'd be looking for like 1694. So it's got a little bit of room to the downside. So see if you get bought up, and then that might be a better spot if you want to go short. I do think this is probably more of a pullback profit taking than it is people interested in really shorting and selling. But that's a lot of bullish days in a row. Good little breakout. And then we'll see where that pullback wants to come in. Oh, there's a hurricane. When is this hurricane happening? Myself and Lou, we're gonna be in the middle of it. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Hurricane. I mean, we got some time, I think. We got some time. Beryl, is that the name? Okay. Oh, good. They're gonna flatten the Caribbean, Lou. That's good. That's good. Should be yeah, we might have to rebuild then. We'll be there rebuilding. I don't know. They might put us to work. Roblox, they really had a chance today at open if they could have got above that hammer in the 200. AMD is starting to push a little bit pre-market too. You can take a look at that one. Uh, yeah, they really had their shot. Roblox, they could have got a nice little gap up today. I'd still be a spot to watch. 37.14 if we get above it. But so far, all of the Bulls' effort kind of went to waste. And then we do have, I think, next immediate target down probably about 36.24. The one after that about $36. So the better spot if we could get it. If you want to try to go long, probably about 35.86. That would also be my targets to the short side, but maybe a little bit of potential chop. AMD, I was looking at, is getting a green candle, at least pre-market. For right now, still just on the fence. The good news for the Bulls, if this thing again, if this thing wants to pick up and go, we're still above that 200 on the daily. That's still creeping up. We came in, we did retest this lower level, 154.65. The Bulls were able to bring it back past it. At open, we still got a little resistance somewhere around 157, 157.21. So we still have a little bit of a more difficult path, probably just some chop till we get that 200 up higher. But at least pre-market, I do see a little green shoot on my screen. VLCN. I think we got time to cover it. VLCN. I think there's another reverse split. Yep. So one for 100. Not usually the most bullish signs, but if you're trying to play it, you could at least get some risk reward. So my stop would be somewhere around 325, and then maybe pull back $5.36 for your buy-in spot. But that is the morning opening bell. So everybody on YouTube, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. We only got one more day where we'll be on YouTube with you until next week. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later, guys.